Hey guys, what's up? It is a gorgeous day outside. It is a Monday. There is a tsunami coming towards us and everyone's happy. About as happy as anyone can be. Today was a really good day for me. Sort of like a general video update. I got to visit someone today who is a friend of a friend of a friend kind of thing. He shall remain anonymous, but he has the most amazing sound room, and I don't mean as in, like a recording room, if you will, but just a room to listen to music in. So he has specifically crafted this room just to listen to music. He has handmade speakers that he built himself, not anybody else. He built them himself, which is fantastically, phenomenally amazing. The way that the speakers work is that they don't use a synthetic or a man-made material to make the sound. All the components are electric, of course, except for, I think it's called the resonator, or whatever they would use to actually resonate the frequency. It's, when you look at a normal speaker, I don't know if I have one here as an example, but let's use this little case thing. So let's say that this is your speaker, all right? So you're looking at your speaker. In the middle, you have like that little metal part or whatever it is that you see that's like that weird bulb. Usually that's some type of like plastic or something. And then on the outside of that is this black, almost felt-like substance, felt-like material that is stretched very tightly. It's kind of a mixture of like a felt or a plastic mixed with like some type of fiberglass or something like that. So it is a very good frequency resonator, I think is what they're called. But it's something that actually makes it sound really good. So the higher the quality is, the better the music sound. Well, this gentleman handcrafted his own speakers, but in place of this synthetic material that you would see on normal speakers, he used wood. Now, this may not be a new concept to big music buffs out there, but I've never thought of this. When you're listening to music, most traditional forms of music, so let's use classical music just for a simplistic example, or acoustic music, for example. You're listening to that kind of music, and there are so many different parts of the music that you don't hear when you listen to a CD or when you listen to the digital format of it. Simply because there's loss in the audio from the recording, and then from the burning and the manipulating into the different sound formats, the different sound styles, if you will. So you lose a lot of the original sounds that are created by the guitar or by the orchestra. But this guy crafted his own speakers to fix that. So he has a vinyl collection of over 4,000 records. That may not be a lot to some people, but that's a lot to me. There's an entire closet filled with them, top to bottom. Oh, and by the way, they're completely categorized. Every single section is categorized based off of style of music. It's categorized alphabetically. It's categorized from English to Japanese, or kind of in between, depending on the genre. It's fantastic. It's amazing on how much music this gentleman has. But when you listen to these music on vinyl, on a record player that, by the way, this record player is just amazing. I will hopefully show you one of the pictures of it that I took. But this record player is one of 20 in the world, handcrafted. And it's this immaculate, amazing piece of work where when it was handmade originally so many years ago, there are only 20 of them made. It sold for 30,000 American dollars. A record player at the time of its conception, when only 20 of them were made, was $30,000. He has one of them in immaculate mint condition. The value on that record player alone has skyrocketed because of the condition it's in. And I'm pretty sure that he could sell that record player for somewhere near, I don't know, maybe $500,000 or more, depending on how many of them that are left in the world and if they're in any good condition, if he wanted to, but he's not. So I listened to music on a record player that, I don't know how old it is, but when it was made it was $30,000. So the style of the record player, the sound that it produced, the way it was crafted, it's a marvel, it's a masterpiece. So we listened to these albums, mostly jazz, which is good stuff. Then we listened to some classical, and I heard sounds I've never heard before because of these speakers, because of this record player. I mean, I love music. I have a huge selection of music at home, in America on CDs and that kind of stuff. I've got a large music selection digitally that I have. I listen to music online all the time, and I love listening to music. I'm not a buff and know everything about music, but I know a decent amount. And this gentleman just blew my expectations out of the water of what I can expect from music if you have the right equipment. So he uses wood on his speakers to help increase the resonating frequency because it matches the original style that the music was produced from. Most musical instruments originally, of course, as we all know or should know, were made from wood. So flutes, saxes, they're all woodwinds, you know. They have a reed which blows into a metal tube, so you usually get to hear more of that. It's like listening to it right in your ear. It's playing right there. You're at a live concert without any speakers. The musicians are around you, and you're sitting in the middle of this bubble of just pure fantasy sound. I mean, it is amazing. You've never heard anything like it before in your life. I never heard anything like it before in my life. And it was phenomenal to listen to this music, handcrafted through handcrafted speakers with wood vibrators. I don't even know what to call those things. I really don't. You know, he had different setups for 2 different sets of handmade speakers to listen to high definition recordings of his high definition records. He had CDs. He had all of this amazing stuff to listen to with such a huge database of music to choose from. And it was phenomenal. I mean, that was an experience that I never thought I would ever have. And I am so glad I got to have it, even if it was only for a few hours. It's amazing. It really is amazing on what you can do or what someone can do when they put their mind to it. The guy that I was with, the gentleman who has all this equipment, he's a brilliant man. He's a brilliant person. He's a very kind person to allow me to go into his home and do that kind of stuff and listen to that music and listen and see and observe and ask questions about his setup. It was so wonderful to see it, to sort of take part in it, you know, temporarily. So I highly recommend that if you ever get a chance, listen to more music. As weird as that sort of like request sounds, but listen to as much music as you can. Listen to it in different formats, in different ways, different styles of recordings. Use different speakers as often as you can. I remember many years ago my brother got a set of, I believe it's called Hardencator speakers that he used inside of one of his cars. It was a great sound system, but this stuff blew that out of the water. I remember listening to a guy who had some type of like top of the line Bose speakers inside of one of his vehicles, and he also had like this giant bass and subwoofers in the back and that kind of stuff in the trunk. There was no trunk, it was just all sound. And you know, this once again blew that out of the water because the quality was so crisp, so clean. There were no skips, there were no breaks, there was no, you know, tweets or twerks or twips or whatever. It was just perfect, clear sound. And it's the only type of sound I've ever heard like it. I've never heard it before. I really wish he would have had a Fleetwood Mac album. I would have loved to have listened to Landslide. Oh my God. Oh. If you don't know that song, look up Fleetwood Mac and their song Landslide. It's a brilliant, beautiful song. Highly recommend it. But moving on. That was what I did today. You know, I got myself ready. I went out with my boss and her husband. And we went to go see a friend of theirs, and he is an amazing person. He has an amazing setup. He has done beautiful work with his hands to create that type of music. or to not create, but to perfect the sound of that music with just speakers, you know, or using a very high quality record player too. I mean, this record player was just, it was off the chain. The needle or the rod that you set the record on was tilted at a 1.5 degree angle, so it kept the record in place. But not only that, he had a weight that he set down on top of the needle or the rod which the record set on, and it bowed the record into place. So the actual record bed itself wasn't flat 100%. It was actually like, what was that, concave, I think? Convex, concave. Yeah, it was a concave record holder. So when he put the weight down on top of it, it actually bowed the record in, but it bowed it into a perfect angle, so that way when you put the needle onto it, the needle was at a perfect 90 degrees, straight up and down, 90-degree angle to the record all the way through. So he created perfect sound quality, no sound loss. And he even showed me that, as I'm sure most of you know, a record player can be really fragile. So if you tap it or if you move it or you bump it, it kind of skips something or it jumps and you lose sound or you lose your place in the song. He put the record on there, put the weight on there, put the needle on, the song, and he was whacking the record with his finger as it was turning. No sound loss whatsoever. There was no jumping, no skipping, no vibrations. That's how amazing that record player was. So, enough gushing. If you ever get a chance, listen to good music. Good music has saved my life many times. It's helped me save a couple of other people's lives. Just by being there for someone, listening to music, creating good memories. This is a memory that I don't think I will ever forget. And once again, I could only ever have it in Japan. So I hope you guys are doing great. I guess I'll see y'all in the next video. Take care.